So I am working with a yard and a half of material, and this is to create a Gele style head wrap. And so I like to use a lot of material because it gives me some more working room to create my shape. And with this amount of material, I don't need to add like extra buns or socks or stockings in my wrap. It's just all material. So the first thing you want to do is know how to fold your material. If you open it up full size, you want to fold it corner to corner, okay? So you can't see the whole piece being folded into corner to corner, but I'll just show you what it looks like once it's done. So corner to corner, this is pretty much what it looks like, okay? Much how we will put corner to corner ends together for a scarf to wrap our heads at night, okay? Then you want to fold this over, okay? You're folding it over one time just to fold in those extra corner pieces that end up sticking out because you don't want those to be in the way. And then with this particular shape and style of folding, you elongate the material to its longest points, okay? On the back side, you'll see kind of like the darts that were kind of disguised, and this will be the part you put on top of your head, okay? So when I say on top, is really what's underneath and what you place right on the top of your forehead. Okay, those pieces are underneath. You see some peeking out here. This is what's going to be disguised and also used as extra material to create, and formulate your gele. And so they're both even on both sides, and you just place it on the crown of your head, and you want to place it low so that you have some working room. Oftentimes when you wrap a scarf on your head, the scarf will sometimes peel back once you complete your finished, head wrap. So I like to start kind of further down close to my eyebrows so that if it happens to peel back, it doesn't look like, it's too far back or, I have a receding, head wrap. I'd rather keep it low for starters. And then if it ends up being too low on the end, I can always pull it back. So I basically grab both sides like I'm grabbing two ends of a ponytail or the base of a ponytail, okay? And you're going to pull tight on both sides and make sure none of those little corner pieces are sticking out. You just pop those back in, boom, nothing on that side, all good. You're going to cover up your ears first. For me, that's better, just the way my head and my ears are shaped, but for most people, cover your ears up just so you can get a good grip on top of your scalp, okay? Now, when I put them to the side, those little corner pieces are still in the center. They're going to want to poke out. So you're going to fold those in because these are the pieces I'm going to cross over the top of my crown, and I don't want those little pieces sticking out. So on this end too, you take your little short pieces, fold them inwards as much as you can until you have more like a solid piece that you're working with. Okay? So for the gele, I'm going to pull one side over first on top of the crown of my head, okay? I pull it over, place it down. You see here? I have the end back here, and there's some material sticking out, but I'll be able to tuck that in later, okay? So I basically cross it over, okay, one side first. And then that last little piece, I just find a little space that I can just tuck in the material because as you're folding across the dome of your head and your scarf creates some folds, and that's where you want to hide your extra pieces. So once the first one is over, you're going to take the second one right over that same placement to add more height and depth. And sometimes you have little pieces picking or poking out. Just fold those back in. I tuck it. I find places to tuck it, and there you go. A gele style head wrap, okay? Now the more material you have, the bigger this will get. So if you have 2 yards or 2.5 yards, the concept is the same. You fold the material the same. You're just going to have a lot more material to work with. And then if you want this to be further back, and that's the preferred way of styling, you can just push it further back, and that helps elongate your crown, okay? Again, the more material you have, the more depth you'll have in the back of your head, and the more material you'll have to work with to create a shape, So there you go, a Gele. Bun. I often wear a bun with my wraps. I think they're one of the most cutest styles and most popular these days. You see a lot of buns that are wrapped in swirls on top of someone's crown or their head. So this is what I'm going to demonstrate. I have 2 yards of material for this particular style. Now you can use a yard, you can use a half yard, you can use, 2 yards. The more material you have, the more you'll be able to twirl that piece around your crown and create a different type of look. So I have 2 yards, like I said, and I'm going to actually use the corner piece. So 2 yards here, pretty material. I'm going to actually use any corner. You can use the any corner you wish, but you want to basically place this corner around the base of your head, starting with the back of your head. Okay, using this corner is going to allow me to use the longest extension this material can possibly have. Okay, from corner to corner is typically the longest you can get any piece of material. So that's how I like to work. So I'm going to find this corner piece. Just imagine like a triangle here, like boom, triangle. That triangular piece I'm going to place on the back of my head. Then I'm going to pull it forward, almost like I'm making a ponytail at the top of my head. But I want to make sure the short piece is wrapped really tight so it's not loose and looking kind of odd. I have strangly material because I like to use unfinished ends. I feel like when I wrap my hair, it just allows for easier tucking. But when there's too many folds and seams and, sewn this and that, it gets in the way for me. So I go old school. So I pull it all in like a ponytail, almost as such. And once I have a good grip on it, to twirl it in a circular clockwise motion. Okay? And because you folded the material in at a diagonal, it's going to have these short pieces at the top. These pieces I'm going to fold in as I twirl. So I twirl, I see a short piece, I fold it in. I fold it in with the longer pieces on the sides, okay, just to kind of disguise those little pieces, because once you start wrapping at the top of your head, you don't want those pieces to fall out, okay? But just be careful. I have kind of very loose skin, so my skin likes to be pulled. You don't want to pull your skin, your scalp really, and your skin too tight, but you can also stretch your face back out after you finish tying if you have that issue. But if not an issue, just keep it moving. So you're going to keep on twirling, 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 boom. And you see I have a long twirl to work with because I have 2 yards, okay? But I like to go big or, I go home. So once this piece is twirled, about halfway is good enough to start, because trying to twirl at the very end is going to unravel. Your hands are not that long and you will need a third hand anyway to really make that twirl stick. Okay, so now I'm going to start to curl it around the base. Okay, curl around the base. Okay, but I'm going to continue to twirl it. So basically I fold it around the base of the portion that I created, my crown at, and I placed it where I would like it to place at once it's finished. Okay, I'm going to keep on twirling and then pull around. Now you see I'm pulling around the base. Okay, I've already created a nice center point, and that is my place of pivot. That's where I pivot around the remaining fabric. Okay, and sometimes you kind of squeeze it if you want like a higher point to it. Just squeeze the material together at the top. I continue to twirl any short pieces, fold them in, twirl, twirl, twirl. Okay, keep wrapping around in a circular motion. And so the other cool part about folding end to end is you end up with these really smaller edges and more easier pieces of material to tuck and hide. Now, if you did not fold it in a diagonal, you're likely to have like bunches of material at the end, which is very difficult to kind of hide and conceal. So the end to end, corner to corner is like the best bet. So this is the end of my material. I'm going to tuck it in. And I realized that, I have very even twirls, but this little one, I kind of want this to be concealed. So I'm just going to push that out of the way underneath the rest of those that have already been laid out. And it kind of just conceals. You don't even know that it's missing. And there you have it. A bun at the top of the head. Again, this bun can be created in the back, on the side. You use the same type of fold and placement. You just want to shape it around at the place where you want the bun to kind of swirl around. At this point, my ears are still covered. I actually would like to hear, so you want to just peel that back open, pull your ears out, add your favorite earrings, and boom, you're done. But I'm just going to demonstrate what it could look like if you have more of a thinner fold and what that could look like. So I'm going to place it at the back of my head. So make sure the material is even on both sides so that when you pull up to the front and create your bow, it's even. Okay, the bow is even. You have the same amount of material you're working with in both loops, which I'm going to show you now. So you're going to pull forward, okay, and figure out, okay, do you want your bow at the top of your head, on the side? I like side bows, so I'm going to do a side bow. Okay, this is a simple tie, a simple shoelace tie where you just, tie the first knot, just as so. Okay, now your next tie is going to actually be the little bunny loop that we normally use to learn how to tie your shoe. So you create your bunny ear, boom, as such. You wrap the other material around and pull through like you're tying a shoe, okay, creating another bunny ear. Okay, so my bunny ears are actually here and here, and then I have this excess material that I'm going to hide away. So I'm going to pull that material that's extra, not really extra, just the ends. I'm going to just tuck it in the back where the other material folds over the top of my crown. Then that other end piece I'm going to also fold and get out of the way. So I just have my two bunny ears to work with. Okay. So once that's solidified, now you need to work with this out, okay? Make it look nice and plump. So I'm going to start to work through the center of the bunny ear and pull outwards, okay? This is going to help shape my bow. You kind of see how it's kind of forming its shape there. Same here, I'm going to work from the center where the material is hiding and folding away, okay? The more you pull out, the more you expound upon, you'll see a larger bow form. So you see my bow is forming, okay? Now, of course, if you have less material, the bow won't be as big. So you can choose, you can judge how much material you want to use. So 1.5 yards to 2 yards could be just fine, okay? Now, for me, sometimes I like the bun to be a little bit more shaped, cultured. So I'll tuck in some of my edges just underneath the material that's already folded over my head. Pull out, okay? Same here. It's plump. I'll fold this in, kind of tuck it underneath. The cool thing about wraps, you just do a lot of tucking and you just create your look. So boom. There is my bun created into a bow. So here you have it. Here is my bow. You can play around with it, culture it to how you like it best. Make it bigger, make it smaller. When you pull out the bunny ears, if you don't want your bow to be as big, you can just pull out a little bit of material, then spread it out and tuck the rest in. But this is basically the finished look. Now, if you have some hair that you want to have out, an afro, twist, locks, this is a beautiful accent to your hairstyle. Or if you choose, you can just cover your whole head up, still create this bow look, and that can work just fine.